Boom. I have 3 things to talk to you about with Bitcoin and an altcoin that is running here today. And if you hear some grunting, that's a Bitcoin baby right here speaking to us. But we have some news here tonight. We got some news from the Bitcoin ETFs purchasing 9,360 Bitcoin. Oh, by the way, if you like the Bitcoin dog, let me know in the comment section. She's full grown, but she's still just a tiny little thing. We have massive buying from the Bitcoin ETFs. We also have news of several lawmakers in one country that are looking at strategic Bitcoin reserve. And we have a couple other things that we should be talking about as well. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. And if you want to trade crypto, there are some links underneath the video to BTCC, to CoinW, to Blofin. I use multiple accounts because you never know when there's going to be volatility and, an exchange freezes for some reason. We have that with Coinbase all the time. We have that with a handful of different exchanges. So I like to use multiple exchanges. Plus, they give you different bonuses. They allow you to trade different cryptos. So check out those links underneath the video in case you are trading. Now, we have Bitcoin bouncing here today. We have big inflows. Just yesterday, people were worried about BlackRock. I know they had their biggest outflow ever. What was it, about $330 million? And people were starting to get worried. I saw Tom Lee was asked about that today, and he thought it was just a bit of rebalancing for the end of the year for maybe some tax reasons. But today we saw large inflows, not just from IBIT. Sure, they had over $200 million worth of inflows. It might have been even closer to $250 million. We also saw large inflows from ARKB, which had over $200 million as well. And we saw over $350 million in inflows from Fidelity. So we saw about $900 million in inflows. And with the delays of some of these ETFs, BlackRock's ETF actually selling $330 million could have been from the last day of the year because there is a delay on these ETFs. So a very strong start to the year. There are a lot of people too that are in the know that say that these ETFs are actually going to have more inflows this year than last year. I believe BlackRock's ETF now, IBIT, is the 12th largest ETF that they have in the first year, less than a year. We still haven't had these ETFs for a full year yet. So massive inflows, really strong coming out from them. And it shows you people are positioning themselves for the new year. They're positioning themselves in the strongest assets. We also have news from FTX today that they've started distributions. January 3, we start distributions, and I think there's around, I might be getting these numbers switched up. I'm trying to do this from memory, but 7 billion, it's either 7 billion or 9 billion are going to be credited over the next 60 days in cash or cash equivalents. And then another 9 or 7 billion, whatever one isn't distributed right now, is going to be distributed over the following period of time, right? We don't know the exact dates on that yet, but we are going to see about half, give or take 5 or 10% distributed to creditors. So what's that mean? That means some people are going to be dumping money back into the market. They're going to be buying altcoins, maybe like Sui, that hit an all-time high here today. Sui looking very strong. I saw that there's a poll by Solana, by some of their developers saying, like, what are your favorite ecosystems outside of Solana? Sui takes the cake. Sui hitting new all-time highs here today. Hit $4.98. Now it's calmed down a little bit, coming down to $4 and maybe 88 cents at the time of this recording. But that's a new all-time high by a couple percent. So it's looking really strong. People continue to, I think, underestimate Sui, and it's still relatively small compared to some of the biggest blockchains out there. Still smaller than Cardano, Avalanche, still smaller than XRP and Solana, obviously. Very far away from Solana and XRP still. But I have talked to some TA experts like Tyler Hill, and he said that we could see maybe a $20 Sui this bull run, $15 to $25. So be on the lookout for that. I am long Sui, but let's get back to Bitcoin. We have large inflows. We have creditors, or we have FTX paying back some of their creditors. We also had news from Dennis Porter that Chile, a couple politicians in Chile are looking at strategic Bitcoin reserve. looking to start buying, just like the U.S. has talked about, just like Russia. Well, there are rumors of Russia doing this. Same thing with China, El Salvador, Bhutan. Like, there are 10 plus nations that already hold Bitcoin, and it seems like a lot more are going to be adding Bitcoin. We have a lot of states now, 13 states, 13 of the 50 states talk about a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and it seems like there are more every single week. We have companies that are discussing buying Bitcoin, whether they agree to buy Bitcoin or they shoot down the idea. The fact is they're talking about it just like politicians. We have 2.5 weeks till inauguration, and it sounds like there's going to be a strategic Bitcoin reserve, maybe day one, coming out from Trump and Trump's son. It sounds like that's pretty much a go at this point. So much good news, and yet Bitcoin still under 100,000. Now, it had a bit of a rally here today, the last couple days. I've been saying that this is a buy the dip opportunity, that we have seen a decent sized pullback, 16%, when you consider that a pretty good pullback in prior runs was 20-30%. The fact that we're seeing a 16% pullback with all this bullish news, and there hasn't really been negative news, right? There's just been a little bit of selling here and there from BlackRock. There's been slowing of MicroStrategy buying as well. The worst outflow day that we've ever seen from the strongest buyer, which is an ETF. Keep in mind, it's not like BlackRock necessarily controls when they have to sell and buy completely. The biggest outflow day was 0.7%, and that's end of the year after it's done over 100% gains. That shows you how strong it is. We have MicroStrategy. People are pissed off because they bought $200 million in a week. Keep in mind, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, this was a $1 billion company, and they're buying $200 million worth of Bitcoin in a week, and people are pissed off. Like, this is nuts. People, if you had told them this is how it's going to go 2 years ago, maybe 5% of Bitcoiners, 1% Bitcoiners, 1/100% of normies would think that the market is going to do what it's done. So we'll have to continue to monitor this. Next week should be interesting with earnings coming in a couple weeks. Obviously, crypto is going to be somewhat tied to that as well. People are going to be looking at earnings to determine what the economy is doing. How strong is the economy? What's the Fed going to do? What does the labor market look like? What does inflation look like? What are these companies saying about consumer strength and consumer confidence and all that? So we'll have to pay attention to that a bit. But obviously, Bitcoin can run against the market and vice versa. So be on the lookout. Be ready for anything. Let me know your thoughts underneath the video. And again, if you want to trade, there are those links underneath. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think about the Bitcoin dog down below in the comments. See you all in the next one. Bye.